or lose, you'll get the $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. You do have to be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH, this is Sports Daily.
Well, hey there, everybody. We a little groggy this morning, a little Monday morning. Your two hosts are right now. Up late last night with the Kansas City Chiefs, doing a little TV work. We're right back here with you, though, getting you ready for another big week. TJ still up in Kansas City joining us. I am back home, and we are going to be reacting plenty today to the Chiefs' big win, a couple of scores over the Detroit Lions. And there is a lot to take away from that game. So we're going to dig in 30-17 winners. We've also got college football to react to plenty today. KState looks very good this weekend. KU does not. We need to get reaction to both of those in as well. And then a full weekend of football outside of those teams incoming. We're glad to be here with you this morning. It's all coming to you, What's on Tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company, featuring Yumkin Pumpkin Ale, WBC's most popular seasonal beer that's made with actual pumpkin, served with a spice rim. Yumkin Pumpkin now available at Wichita Brewing Company. Pizza and beer made here. TJ, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Speaking of Wichita Brewing Company, you said patio season is here, so we're taking Sports Daily to the deck here at the house that I'm staying. Yeah, so I've heard that I've had a loud voice. My radio voice is very loud. There's people still sleeping at 7 a.m. in this house, and I'm a nice guest, accommodating guest, so we're doing the show outside. So I guess I apologize to all the neighbors up here in Kansas City, but the show goes on. Modern problems require modern solutions, and we're here.
Look. It's a nap day. You a nap guy?
Goodness, I'm going to take it. I've learned I'm a big power nap guy since we started doing this 5 days a week. I mean, literally, like the 20 minutes, it's like, man, that's like a cup of coffee. That's way better. I feel awesome.
It is. There are a few things more rejuvenating than a good 20's pushing it for me. 10 to 15 minute old man dad power nap just gets you right back snapped into reality and ready to roll. Safe travels back from Kansas City. It was a late night. A game that moved fairly quickly, to be rightly honest. It was an efficient game. It was a really interesting game, and we're going to dig into all of it as the Chiefs get that win. But, as a broader picture, TJ, through all of the things this season, all of the different I don't even know, all the different ways that we've looked at it. They sit 3-3 in the stretch that we wondered about, the stretch of the schedule that was brutal, the no Rashee Rice for a time, no Xavier Worthy, like all of it, the dust settles down and they're 3-3. And I think pretty clearly they're the favorite in the AFC West. Some people may not agree with me on that, but that's pretty wild. That's pretty wild.
It's pretty funny that I bet if you took a sample size of 100 people and gave them the schedule and said Rashee Rice is out for 6 games, mark the games they win and mark the games they lose. This was not the 3-3 we thought that we would see, but I agree. 3-3 is nothing to complain and moan about, whenever you don't have your number one wide receiver, and you're going to get better as it goes on. So 2-4, we'd be talking a lot differently this morning. 3-3 though, is reasonable, and you're only a game back, one game back at the AFC West lead is the craziest part.
Well, at one point too, it wasn't just Rice. It was Rice and Xavier Worthy. And Worthy was quiet last night. He cost me some money. I had him as a leg in parlays that all would have hit. That was a good money-making game last night. But I honestly, as we watched it, and I was asking our colleague Rachel Hallam in the office as we're getting ready for the show, I was like, I kind of wonder if they're not taking it easy on him. And with that ankle that's been flaring up off and on at practice, and usually it's since the second half of last year through, like, his workload is a little higher. So I still think there's more in the tank for him too to come. But I also don't want to I don't want to put too much like pressure on Rashee Rice. Like the offense is looking great for a lot of reasons, one of which is the protection that they are giving Patrick Mahomes. And the big question going into the night last night was answered immediately. Jalen Moore was fantastic. I think he had awesome. One pressure allowed in the first half, and I don't recall any in the second half. It may have been one or two, but I don't think it was. Just to the eye, I haven't gone through and dove into all that yet, but he did a really nice job. And just, remember, he was supposed to be the left tackle, and then Josh Simmons fell in their lap. I think that gives you, when you look at a team like the Chargers and the reasons they're struggling, and some of these teams across the league, even the Lions to some degree last night, it's because of injury and lack of depth. And, in the Lions case, they're missing some offensive linemen. I mean, they were down like 5 defensive backs, and it showed. But Jalen Moore provides a little security and safety in that he could probably play either tackle really well for the Chiefs.
Yeah, that was something that I brought up last night, is that, this was such a problem last year that you kept cycling people around and couldn't figure it out. This year, it seems that you have 2 guys that can play it and one that can do it in a pinch as well, and Kingsley Suamataia. But I said that, if you took a pregame nap and didn't know your offensive line numbers, you'd have no idea that Josh Simmons probably wasn't playing left tackle. That's how good Jalen Moore played. Also, did you see postgame? Nobody knew this. Jalen Moore's wife had a baby yesterday morning.
I did not know. I didn't see that.
And so somebody was asking what the day was like. He's like, yeah, well, I was in the hospital. They're like, why were you in the hospital? He's like, oh, my wife had a baby. And then I learned at like noon that I was going to be the starter on Sunday Night Football. So I had to get back here.
And we'll see what's going on with Josh Simmons. If you missed his situation, something with his family that required him to return home and miss the game. So hope all is well there. But yeah, look, that's a big deal. Like losing that stability along the offensive line. The Lions are not a good defensive team. I said that all week long. Like, the numbers don't really back up that. But the one thing they do well is rush the passer. Like, if you look through and you kind of dig in, like, they've done a good job at that. Now, again, their opponents have been a little deceptive in what they've done this year. I still think the Lions are a very good team, and I think they may be the best team in the NFC. But the way they were looking as far as this juggernaut was not really playing itself out. They have just annihilated some not very good defenses, and they struggled a little bit against the one really good defense they played. I wouldn't say the Chiefs are a really good defense. Man, they played a really good second half of football though last night.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll dig into this more, but it's just so wild to look at the box score of the game last night as well, and it's like, it kind of proves your point here, is the fact it's like, well, what did the Chiefs do to limit the lot? Like, you look at the box score, it's like they didn't turn them over, like they didn't really get them off the field that often. Like, and so I think this is just kind of proves the point of like it. I mean, they're a normal offense. They got a lot of explosive chunk guys, and I think that's how they make their money against lesser defenses. And I think that the Chiefs just took that away as much as they could, and so really interesting game. Like, usually it's like glaring in the box score. It's like, oh yeah, they're terrible on third down. They missed 4 fourth down. Like, it was a normal game for the Lions on offense.
I think there was something glaring, and we will get into it. We also have Josh Brisco coming up, the Chiefs Radio Network. I was listening to some of him and his reactions on the drive home last night from the TV station, which was really nice. Chiefs Radio Network, of course, over on KNSS. So we'll have him in the next hour to help, but we'll give you our thoughts. TJ was there front and center. Of course, we're all watching that game. It was a marquee game of the NFL season, and the Chiefs looked good. But to TJ's point, if you woke up this morning and you put your hand over the score and just looked at the box score, you might not know exactly what happened in that one. So we'll dig into all of it. It's all coming up here. We want to say a very special thanks to Prairie Fire Coffee, coffee in general, for keeping us fueled up this morning, because it will be a little bit of a sleepy day, a long day, but we're here for it. And we're ready for the Chiefs to maybe play some Sunday afternoon football games for a change, for a stretch here. But that's all coming for you. Max Powers got your hotline at 869-1240 if you want to react. You can also send us video comments on Facebook, on YouTube, on X. Thanks for watching us on 12 News Connected. We'll dig in. Chiefs' big win. That's next.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas fan headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
on KFH.
Sports Talk on KFH, presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much. You can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday, all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. Chiefs Raiders will be all over Paramount Plus. CBS, of course, KWCH will have that one this weekend. That's up next for Kansas City. We'll get into that throughout the week. I would caution everybody. That feels a little trappy to me. Everything, oh, great, we're good now. 3 weeks at home, and, we're through that tough stretch, and here comes Rashee Rice, and everything's going to be rosy. Just be careful. It is a divisional game against the Raiders. We'll get much into that later on in the week. Today, it's all about the game last night. Kansas City beats Detroit 30-17. Jacob Albrock, TJ Cleveland here. TJ in Kansas City, where the sun is rising behind him, because it was just, quite frankly, too late at night to make it back here. Late night, as we were on Sports Sunday last night on 12 News with the instant quick reaction. And TJ, my instant quick reaction in watching that is Kansas City in the second half did exactly what Detroit wanted to do in the first half. Yep. Both of these teams, this was interesting strategically to me in this game, because both teams ended up sort of wanting to do the same kind of thing. And, it looked like Kansas City just kind of took it. Detroit, that Amon-Ra St. Brown drop pass was really tough on them, because they were doing everything they wanted. Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes going into, I believe, the final drive, threw the ball 8 times. They just didn't have the ball. And they were moving it effectively, and Detroit had seen the film. They knew that offense was coming back, but they didn't give them a chance to have the ball. And then when they dropped that pass and everything flipped, right, it gave Kansas City an opportunity to go score, and then Kansas City got the ball back in the second half, and then it allowed Kansas City to do that in the second half, and they didn't allow Detroit to have the ball. The overall time of possession in that game ended up favoring the Chiefs by about a minute. It was almost 50-50. But, man, if you were watching the first half, you'd have never thought that was possible.
Even in the second half, that was something that I was kind of digging through the box score, and I was like, what's the angle? Like, how did they win this game? And then I was like, maybe they just played keep away and played Army football against K-State. And I was like, Detroit still had it 5 minutes longer than the Chiefs had, up until that final drive, basically, where they got the field goal and then taking the knees ultimately gave it to the Chiefs' favor. But, the first quarter, you watch that Lions drive, and we were sitting in the press box, and it's like they just keep going down the field. And then you look up, and it's like there's 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Like, what in the world is going on? That was the longest drive I've ever seen in my life. So it is. It was a drama-free second half, and that's a good thing as a Chiefs fan, because that's what the Lions kind of thrive on. As I was saying, is they thrive on the big explosives and everything of that nature. And so they limited those and just kind of did what they wanted to do. Like, it was nothing crazy. I don't really know how to explain it other than that.
Well, I think it highlights a few things. It highlights the absurdity of the loss to the Jaguars and how many different ways the Chiefs found to lose that game.
Yeah.
I think it highlights the efficiency of this Chiefs offense. I do think as this season goes along, teams are going to have to keep pace offensively with the Chiefs, especially if they don't make mistakes. Mistakes are a different animal. Man, they when they play clean, and you just imagine the offense in what it should have been and now will be, it's hard to imagine finding enough people to cover them. Now, let's also not be naive and overthink the fact that Detroit was decimated in the secondary last night. They were missing 5 of the 6 corners they started the season with. Okay, that's not nothing. That's not insignificant. So we have to acknowledge that. We have to acknowledge that when they played the Ravens were in the same boat, basically. But the Jaguars weren't, right? The Jaguars were fine health-wise. They were just fine. And the Giants were okay defensively, and the Chiefs put up 22. So this Chiefs offense, I think at least what I thought before the season is beginning to play out. that this is going to be an elite offense. And the defense will have to see. And I don't think the defense will be elite again this year. But, man, it can be good enough. And in a second half, it was fantastic last night.
Yeah, I expect it'll be a top half defense still. It's not going to be the best defense in football like we saw the past 2 years is what you're saying. And I agree with that. So, but that's what they're going to have to do. And I think that the defense yesterday, as I said, they didn't do anything crazy. They didn't really get to the quarterback a ton. They didn't really turn him over.
By the way.
They didn't turn him over. They didn't, limit him, get him off the field and everything like that. I think that the defense just was good at letting a 9-yard gain be a 9-yard gain and not turn into a 20-yard gain, not turn into a 30-yard gain. Like I said, Shamari Connor had 14 tackles. They were going crazy in the locker room about Shamari Connor having 14 tackles last night. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, the Lions got a lot of yardage and he was just there to clean it up every single time. So, the defense, I mean, I would take what the defense did last night. And, I mean, going forward, I think that's an okay performance. Do you think that's...
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it's okay. I think Detroit had a couple of moments that cost them. I think Detroit also game planned it a certain way to try and limit the Chiefs' offense, and I don't fault them for that, honestly. Like, it almost worked. It was working. It was working until the Amon-Ra drop in the first half. Like, the Lions' game plan was I don't know if it was the right one, but it was working at the moment. I think, in the future, especially with Rice coming back, teams are going to have to be willing to track meet a little bit with Kansas City. And Detroit just did not want to do that last night. They were pretty limited. They would not. Jared Goff, I bet Jared Goff didn't have more than 2 or 3 throws that were 12 yards down the field. Yep. Everything was compressed. And I don't think that was because the Chiefs were compressing it. I think it was by design because Detroit was just trying to control the clock. Probably a little bit of both. But they were running the ball really well in the first half. Like, we looked up and I was like, damn, Gibbs already has 50 yards on the ground and he hasn't broken one off yet.
Gibbs had 9 carries on the first drive of the game. Like, they Gibbs the rock.
And he was moving the ball, but nothing was a big chunk run.
Yeah.
And exactly. I'm like, this is a problem for Kansas City. Like, they can't get on the field. Like, they need their offense to be able to be on the field, and they couldn't get on the field, and it was working, and then they don't convert on one critical play, and then boom, the Chiefs offense takes it. They can score quick. They do. They come out at half. They score quick again. Game over.
It is. That's just kind of how it felt, is that it was like just slow them down, eventually get to that 4th down, and then it's just like, all right, like, this is where you got to make a play. And, like, that was just kind of what the Chiefs defense did all night. And it was just like, sure, like, take a first down, like, take an 8-yard gain, like, whatever. Like, we'll get our chance eventually. Like, you're not going to go score a touchdown and a 50-yard pass or something like that. And so, and I mean, I think that shows in Detroit's rushing. Jahmyr Gibbs had 17 carries for only 65 yards. And so, they limited him. They had a couple that got, chunky yardage and everything like that. But for as much as they tried to feed him the ball, I think that the Chiefs front line kind of swallowed him up a little bit.
Have you looked ahead yet to the Raiders line?
I have not.
It's 11 and a half.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's no way. I was going to say like 4.
Oh, no. The Raiders are bad, but 11 and a half in the NFL is.
I thought it was going to be within a touchdown.
11 and a half in the NFL is a big number for a healthy team, and I think the Raiders are pretty healthy. But I wouldn't mess with that line. But I'll tell you, like, teams that can't score are going to have a hard time with Kansas City. Like, I don't know, Cleveland, or I'm trying to think of a good defensive team that, that struggles offensively. I don't know how those formulas play themselves out. Now, there's not very many of those on the schedule. So, schedule relief, air quotes, the Raiders are a nice game. But then it's Washington, who is a little banged up right now, but Washington's probably going to be healthy by the time the Chiefs play them. At Buffalo, at Denver, Indianapolis, Dallas. So you're talking about, after this week against the Raiders, you're talking about 4 straight games against teams that absolutely can score it. Houston's been a little offensively challenged. We'll see what the Chargers are at that point. Titans, like, it's going to be a minute still before they get to that kind of back end where it does soften up. we're not there until Thanksgiving, till after Thanksgiving, really. And I do think though, like when we look at their opponents, teams that can't score, it's going to be tough because Kansas City's going to score on everybody. I don't think there is a defense in football. Now we're not talking like in a one game, in a 1 game scenario. Sure, good game plan. Jaguars game is a good example. A lot of mistakes, even though the Chiefs moved the ball like crazy on Jacksonville. I don't know that if they can protect the way that they're protecting, they're almost an unstoppable offense because they just have too many different ways to get you with a quarterback who is if he's not the most cerebral quarterback in the league, he is with anybody, right? He's the smartest. Like, it's going to be almost impossible to stop their offense. They actually ran the ball pretty well last night. I mean, their run game's not going to get much run because the pass game looks so efficient, but Isaiah Pacheco was pretty good. And Mahomes continues to be a factor there. And Kareem Hunt gives them, he gives them what he gives them, short yardage and a good pass. But at the end of the day, and I do think, TJ, it's time to start including Mahomes in the run game. For the first part of the season, it was like, okay, the run game, but a lot of that came from Mahomes. Now I think it's time to he's a part of that run game. It's not just him scrambling. Last year was just him scrambling. These are runs intentionally. So when you do include him in that, you're in for 112 yards yesterday. And that is a good thing to have in your back pocket to turn around and then keep an offense like Detroit off the field like they did.
It's hilarious to me that Patrick Mahomes has played in the National Football League for 9 years and really was never a dual threat quarterback. And now it's just like, yeah, maybe I'll start running this year. And he's ran it effectively.
We've known he was a good athlete.
Yeah, I think it was more of a protection thing, probably more than anything else. I mean, but there's always the joke about Mahomes is faster than to the nth degree of the person that's chasing him. He always finds a way to just outrun somebody by 1 mile an hour whenever he's running down the field, like he did in that Super Bowl 57. But yeah, I agree. I think that the run game, as we said every single week, they don't, like Isaiah Pacheco doesn't need to run for 100 yards. Kareem Hunt doesn't need to run for 100 yards. They're not going to. You just have to hand the ball off double-digit times, and that's all that we ask of. Like, even if it's a bad day, like if they average 2 yards a carry, just hand it off 10 times and it'll just keep the sanity. I think
yeah, I don't normally I agree with that. I have been people that have listened to this show know very well. I've been pounding the table to run the ball more the last 2 years as loudly as I can. I would tell you that I don't really care anymore this year. I don't care. If the offensive line protects them that way, the only thing in a game like last night, so depending on the opponent, if you have a late lead, you'll need to be able to run the ball, right? As they did. And obviously they'll have to do it schematically to keep a defense honest. But if that wasn't the Lions and they weren't trying to just kind of drain the clock out of that game in the second half, they don't need to run the ball. They have so much in the pass game. The reason they've needed to run the ball the last 2 years is because the offensive line was so terrible in pass blocking that you didn't want Mahomes to get killed out there. And it was like, you got to run the ball to protect him.
Yeah.
If they're going to protect like that, man, they don't need to run the ball because they're going to be as efficient throwing the ball. Man, imagine if Kelsey, I don't want to say could catch. Imagine if Kelsey was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, Kelsey. He's obviously an older version of himself, and he was incredible last night. He was outstanding last night. But Pete Kelsey, this offense just has, I'm telling you, Mahomes going to win the MVP. Mahomes is going to win the MVP. He's going to put up just some gaudy offensive numbers. All of these things that look like they could be possible with a good offensive line. They have a good offensive line. If they stay healthy, he's going to win the MVP.
Yeah. This is kind of what he excelled at whenever he won his MVPs. And it's not the fact of, the running of the set plays and having good receivers. I mean, he won an MVP with a bad receiving core, in 2022. He's so good at improvising and being able to find people down the field. And last year he didn't have that luxury because he couldn't sit in the pocket that long. Like you saw yesterday, I mean, there was times that like he'd sit in there for 3-4 seconds, and then it's like, okay, evade this guy, and Hollywood Brown's wide open down the field. Like that's what Mahomes is so good at. That's what Kelsey made all of his money off of as well, is that he could just kind of, read Mahomes' mind about like, oh, he's in trouble, let me go get open, and there's another reception, and now I have 12 on the day. So that's what he does so well, and I think that we're going to get more of that this year, which is so nice. It feels like it shouldn't be this easy as an NFL fan to have one major flaw that you wanted to address in the offseason. You draft a guy, you sign a guy, and then maybe it's just fixed. Knock on wood, I guess, but it feels like it's fixed.
The offensive line, yeah, I don't know what else we need to see. And last night was a big depth question. Rick says holding to Detroit to 17 compared to the 40 they averaged for the last 4 games is impressive. I agree. I was impressed with the defense last night. They did it a lot through the offense, I think, but the defense, when they had to make stops and they adjusted at halftime really, really well. Austin says his biggest thing, the Chiefs didn't beat themselves. No penalties, great win. Back to the Jacksonville absurdity. Like, yes, that is, I mean, if the Chiefs if Andy Reid needs to explain to the Chiefs, if you just don't beat yourselves, he can show that Jacksonville game ought to just be up on repeat in the locker room as just a reminder to everybody. This is like the only thing you can't do. This is it. Just don't play like that, and you will win most, if not all, the rest of your games. That's how good we can be. We haven't even had time, TJ, to get to the fight yet.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about that for sure.
We will in the next hour.
About the penalties here, some stats for you. No team in football had a 0 penalty game last year. There was only 4 the year before that, only 2 the year before that, none in 2021. Like, it's a rare game to have a 0 penalty game. Like, that's a big deal, especially after coming off
for the Chiefs.
Exactly, especially coming off of 13 penalties on Monday night. When was the last time? Last time Chiefs had a 0 penalty game was December 1st, 2019.
That's wild. Yeah, that's never been their thing. Penalty-free is not
Oakland
their
Raiders.
DNA. And that's not, look, they're not going to go penalty-free the rest of the year. That was a really good game for a team that's good and had to have it. That's what that was. We'll talk more about it in the next hour. Joshua Brisco is going to join us. We'll hit KState and KU today as well. 869-1240, the number to call. Thanks for the comments. Keep them coming. It's all Brockton Cleveland on a sleepy Monday. We'll be right back.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
31001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas fan headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Glad to have you with us here tonight. Hey, NFL Monday Night Football's on KFH tonight. Tune in 97.5 and 1240 KFH. 6 o'clock to hear the play-by-play NFL action on Westwood 1. The Bears on the road taking on the Commanders. You can listen online at kfhradio.com or download the free Odyssey app and search for KFH. Of course, one of 2 NFL Monday Night Football games. The other, Buffalo at Atlanta, will be over on KNSS. So coverage beginning at 6 o'clock for both of those. You have a 6:15 start and a 7:15 start. Is that what we have tonight?
I think so. It's the overlapping. It's like the overlapping, not the Monday Night Football after dark.
Yeah, this is the good kind. And these are 2 good games. Look, I'm excited about both of these games, to be perfectly honest with you. I think they both have a chance to be pretty entertaining. Maybe before the end of the show, we'll look at some bets on those if we get time. But we got a lot of college football to cover as well, including, and we'll start with K-State, TJ, and K-State getting a big win, a very impressive win in their game against TCU. 41-28, kind of an all 3 phases game, right? The defense chips in a great deal in this one. TCU outgains K-State by a large number, almost 450 yards of offense for TCU. So while K-State's defense, I don't know that you can call it an elite performance. They had some elite plays that turned the tide of the game, and they get a 41-28 impressive win. Avery Johnson was efficient. They ran the ball. They committed to running the ball. And now, like, if we really think back to the Baylor game, a game which they should have won on the road, for the question that continues to come, which is K-State back? I think the answer to that, TJ, is probably yes. Now,
I don't know.
I don't know how good back is. So let me clarify that. Like, are they back to being a much better version of themselves? I'd say yes. I think what's interesting is I don't know that the defense was ever going to be great. And I think that's playing out. I think they've become a team that's at least playing better. And I do think we're getting, they don't have Dylan Edwards, obviously, but we're getting a much better idea and real idea of what this team is, which is a team that can score, that's going to get scored on, with some playmakers that are trying to come up big, and they should have beat Baylor. So it'd be a pretty different animal if we were talking about that. They might still have hope in the Big 12. I don't think they do now, but either way, they're playing some better football than what we saw early in the season.
Yeah, it's an interesting game because I know that it's you get 2 defensive touchdowns is the biggest thing that makes you kind of question this game. Obviously the defense played pretty.
2 defensive touchdowns, but they win the game by 13 points.
Yeah, it's true, but there's some talk I've seen on social media about I don't know if we won that game or if TCU lost that game. Like, TCU played pretty bad, but in the same breath, I think that the K-State defense played really, really well, and that's the reason that they won that game. I mean, they had 3 takeaways on a TCU offense. That's awesome. We've talked about Josh Hoover coming into this game about how tough he was going to be. So, are they back? Are they? I honestly, at this point, I think every conversation that we have just kind of points towards the Sunflower Showdown for the time being. K-State's up next in 2 weeks. They both have byes next week, and is this K-State team good enough to go beat KU, which we'll talk about KU, and that's a whole other story. But this is the best that K-State has looked. As a KU person, I would be, a little bit, butterflies in the stomach more than I have been all year after what I saw K-State do this last week. So are they back in terms of going to go keep winning games, get to what's a reasonable number? Can
they finish 6, above 500?
7? Can they get to 7 wins? That's a question. Yeah. I think
500 in the Big 12. Right now they are 2-2. You've got Kansas, you've got Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, Utah, and Colorado.
I guess that's the number.
It's foolish to ever assume any win, but let's just assume that they beat Oklahoma State and Colorado. That leaves Texas Tech and Utah on the road, right? So maybe that puts them at 4-4, and then the Kansas game makes the difference in 500 or not.
At this point of the season, is back making a bowl game? What is?
Oh, they're going to make a bowl game. How many wins do they have?
That schedule you just listed off, 6 wins. Tough to come by here.
6, Kansas. Yeah, I guess that's true.
They've got how many left? They played 7. That means they got 5 left. And of the 5, you have, I know, you have Texas Tech, you have KU, and you have Utah on the road. So it's you gotta win one of those, and you got to take care of business in the other ones.
Yeah, I that's a good question. What's so crazy about it is this year, because you've got BYU, Tech, and Cincinnati all at 3-0. One of them, I think. Listen, I don't think Tech's losing a Big 12 game. I think Tech has a chance to win CFP games. I think Tech is outstanding. We'll get to them when we talk KU. BYU, they really kind of that game. I was trying to stay up for the end of that game. I almost made it. It was so late. BYU, Arizona, Saturday night. BYU is, to me, not as good as a team like Texas Tech. Cincinnati's definitely not. So do one of those 2 teams lose 2 games, though? You know what I mean? Are one of those 2 losing 2 games? Because that's what you have to hope on if you're any of the teams with just 1 loss. This goes back to, I know I talk about this all the time, that new structuring and that new format. Getting a guaranteed 2 Big 12 teams in is a win. It is going to be ridiculous trying to get 2 of these teams in to the CFP every year. Like, what's
Are you
going to
talking
happen
about
this year?
The extended format?
Yeah, if they extend it, like, and I,
yeah.
while I understand the resistance of just being willing to settle, I don't know that there are going to be very many years where two Big 12 teams get into this thing. I don't think it's going to happen.
Isn't that that's the format that Yormark's pushing back on because he doesn't want that.
He's the one. He's the biggest and he's the biggest opponent. And now everyone's coming to his side too. By the way, like he kind of was the big. And I can't quite. I get it. I get you don't want to ever concede power to anybody for any reason. But if we're just talking about that playoff in its like, there are not going to be a lot of years where the Big 12 can get two in. Like, who's the second team? Texas Tech would be the at-large type team that could get in if they weren't to win the Big 12 championship. So this year, what you'll have to have is probably Tech run it out and then lose in the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah,
that's what it would take.
Yep.
Right now, and Tech does have a quarterback issue again, which we saw flare up against KU, and we'll talk about it. But back to K-State. What's wild is if they handle business against Baylor like they should, TJ, they're sitting there 3-1. They're still alive in that thing.
We'd be having a completely different conversation because Baylor was a team that we were kind of worried about with the offense that they had, and then TCU obviously caused a whole bunch of worry as well. If you could go 2-0 against those two teams the last 2 weeks, I mean, we'd be sitting here talking about, okay, let's look at the rest of this. Like, if they could find a way to beat KU and then upset Tech, like, man, we might be looking at Arlington. And now we're sitting here like, man, can they make the Music City Bowl? Like, that's a win at this point.
Sometimes we look at this in rose-colored glasses, and I get it. When I talk to my family and everybody that's down in Lubbock, and we're talking about Tech and how good they look, and I've told you so many nieces and nephews going to school there right now. When I ask, K-State's the game they're the most worried about in Manhattan. It's not BYU at home. I don't think it's Arizona State. I mean, I literally had that conversation this weekend. It's K-State. That's the game Tech fans are kind of looking at like that's a problem spot right there. Because they know what kind of player Avery Johnson is. They know that, K-State offensively, especially if they had Dylan Edwards back, can be a juggernaut. And that's the one they're looking at.
I don't know. I mean, to switch gears briefly to KU, KU put up 17 straight points on them. Like, they had them to a 4-point game at halftime, and then the wheels fell off, and, Texas Tech flexed their muscle in the second half and everything like that.
With their backup quarterback.
Yeah, it's true. So, I don't know. Is Darren Morton going to be able to play?
Texas Tech is outstanding. Yeah. They are as good defensively as I can't remember a Big 12 team being as good defensively as they are this year. Right. Big 12 is built on offense. We see it every year. Offense all the time. And Tech has a great offense. They're down to their backup quarterback. If you can find me a better defensive player in the country than Jacob Rodriguez, I'd love to hear it. That dude is a star. And he is making play after play. They're for real because they can play defense. That's why, like, when I watched them go to Utah and just shut them down the way that they did, I'm like, hang on a minute. Like, no teams out of the Big 12 usually can play that level of defense, which is what it takes in college football. They're playing that level of defense right now. And they're matching it to some degree with the offense. But we'll dive in at the top of the next hour on it. But K-State is the kind of team that can get anybody if they play well because they have a guy like Avery Johnson. Avery, I thought Avery did a nice job against TCU. I thought he was moderately efficient. He didn't have much on the ground, and sometimes that really hurts him. And he was still pretty good through the air. I don't think we've seen his blow up game yet, and I think it's very much still possible. I think getting Dylan Edwards makes this offense pretty dynamic. I don't think they're very good defensively, so I don't. And we'll get Wyatt Thompson's take on all of this tomorrow. I think they have a chance to be a great offense, and they're not a good defense. And so shootout city comes in the games that they play, and you see what happens. It was 41-28. That feels like a score we're going to see a lot of out of K-State.
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest positives you can take from this game, too, that we haven't talked about, speaking of rushing, is Joe Jackson in a game that Dylan didn't play in as well. Joe Jackson had 110 yards, getting over 100 for the first time in his career. And so, we've seen the struggles of no Dylan out there and what it's done to this offense. And that's kind of the thing, is that, like, the offense looked, pretty solid. Like, the running game looked really good. And it's like, and all year long we've talked about, like, well, I mean, they don't have Dylan, like, they don't have a healthy Dylan, that's why this is all happening. And then out of nowhere this happens. So I don't know what switched in Joe Jackson to make him go do that and help this offense, but if he could do that.
It wasn't an explosive run game. He did have one for like 20 yards, and I mean, if you I always try to do this with running backs, like, I don't want to discount explosive plays because they are a big part of it. But if you take the 20-yarder out, you're looking at, let's see, about 90 yards over 26 carries. He's under 3.5 yards a carry, which is kind of what he's been. So he popped one off. Dylan
think it's more so
much more juice.
Not to interrupt you here. I think that the fact that he had 27 carries is kind of the biggest deal here, is that the fact that they had enough trust to give him the ball. I think he's a redshirt freshman. Like, that's something that they didn't have. And I think that was something that hurt them as well, is that, like, we saw, like, Avery becoming a pocket passer in those early games. And everybody's like, what is going on? It's like, well, they can't hand the ball off. They have a young guy back there by himself, basically. So I think that just shows they have more trust in him. I think that he has more trust in himself too. I think that opens things up, like we saw whenever Dylan came back. I think that you kind of have that a little bit, not the explosiveness, but just another facet of your game with him.
There was a game plan to it. Look, they ran it 30 times. They ran it more than they passed it. And I think that helps you win a game against an elite offense against TCU when you don't have a very good defense. All the credit in the world for them to committing to it. I totally agree with you. You do something like that, that's how you beat a great pass, because their defense isn't going to be able to just do it. So nice performance by K-State. Week off here. We got a lot of time to digest it and get ready for KU, who we'll talk about right on the other side. That was a tough one to Texas Tech. That's where we head next on Sports Daily. We will get to KU, TCU. We will get back into the Chiefs as well. And we will get Joshua Brisco in to help us in the next hour with the Kansas City Chiefs. Big Sunday night football win against the Lions. That's all coming up. Stick around. It's all Brockton Cleveland on Sports Daily.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now. 831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas fan headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back into Sports Daily. If you're just joining us, Jacob Albrock, TJ Cleland with you, recapping a busy sports weekend that was on this Overreaction Monday. It's a sleepy Monday morning after some late Sunday night football last night. We got into some Kansas City Chiefs talk. Still haven't talked about the fight, which I'm sure we'll do later on this hour. Our Chiefs insider Joshua Brisco will join us as well. We just talked to KState. Coming up next for KState is the Sunflower Showdown against KU. And this weekend, we saw KU match up with the juggernaut that is the number 9 Texas Tech Red Raiders. I haven't even seen the new top 25 that came out. I'm sure that they kept climbing a little bit after some movement there in the top 10. But Texas Tech, going to be a problem in the Big 12, as we referenced. KU kind of held their own in the first half, and then they ran out of gas against a really good firepower team. Jacob, what did you see in that one?
Texas Tech up to number 7 in those rankings. Yeah. I was actually really impressed that they were able to hang there for a little bit. Texas, KU, you've got that game going the way you need it to go. It's tight in the first half. What is it, 21-17? Baron Morton had gone down at that point. Will Hammond was not looking good. Tech didn't throw the ball hardly at all. And you're like, okay, this is going to be great. And then they showed that they can run the ball. Tech wasn't a team that I don't think, had run the ball like that all year. And then they do. So just one more trick in their bag, I suppose. But you felt good about it. You felt good about the way KU was playing. And I don't, again, like I said this last night, like that game, I know that's a frustrating one if you're KU because you never like to get beat like that. That game to me was more about Tech. It really was. It's more about their defense. It's more about what they're capable of. I mean, they threw for 133 yards. If you just told me that, TJ, I was like, hell yeah, KU's got it. Like they hold them to 133 yards through the air. And then all of a sudden you see what they did on the ground. You're like, well, I didn't even know they could do that. Yeah. You know, like I didn't know that was in their bag of tricks, but okay.
Yeah, let me look at this. I got to see Cameron Dickey's game log here. Let's see what he's had.
And so many big runs, obviously.
Yeah, 90, 10, 65, 67, 98, 263. So a big day for Tech in the running game, as you're talking about. The KU defense obviously has had its flaws, and we've talked about that plenty throughout the weeks since the Cincinnati game. Basically, it's the third time this year they've basically given up 500 yards of offense, which is a problem. But, you know, that's not something that, like, if this was the anomaly against Tech, it's like, well, you know, it's Texas Tech, you know, like, what are you going to do against it? So if KU was going to win this game, like, I kind of expected Tech to put up 40 points. Like, that was just kind of the
I couldn't find, as we were getting ready for, I couldn't find a way to give KU a win. And honestly, like, the only thing you could have thought of kind of happened in the first half, right? It kind of played out like quarterback goes down. They can't throw the ball. Like, okay, here's your shot.
Exactly. I felt like it was always, even if it was a healthy quarterback, they might have gone for 60, honestly. But I think that if they ever were going to have a chance to win this game, it was going to take another Jalen Daniels 500-yard game. Like, it was going to take a crazy offense to be able to have a chance at this one, and it still may not have been enough. But you know, as we said, Tech more than just an offense; they got the defense as well, and so it was always an uphill climb in this one.
It's so funny, you know, sacks count as negative rushing plays in college. Jalen Slump have a negative 40 yards rushing.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore in the NFL. Tech's good. Again, Jalen Daniels looked great. He had a nice, I say great. He had a nice game. Jalen Daniels has been such a nice story this year. So you come back now and you start to get ready. Like that to me, that is an easy one to just get out of here if you're a KU fan. Now it all focuses in on KState. And what do you do to beat KState? I think a lot of the things, you know, you hope, kind of like you did against Tech, you limit them through the air. K-State's, I mean, Dylan Edwards could, with 2 weeks of rest, gash them the way Dickey gashed them. But if Edwards isn't there, I don't think K-State's going to gash you on the ground like that.
Yeah.
And you got to have, KU's got to have Jalen Daniels be Superman the rest of the way. Like the games that they win, he's got to be Superman. And he has been a lot this year. And they get 2 weeks to try to get a little better defensively. But they're not a good defense. And they lost so many great players. I love Bengali Kamara. He's one of my favorite players that we're watching this year. He's been so fun to see. I mean, they're not very good defensively, and they're not going to be. So neither is K-State, quite frankly. Like, K-State's not very good defensively, and they're not going to be. It could be shootout city. And then at that point, you look at the two quarterbacks. It could be a really fun game.
I don't know. I do think it probably will be a little bit of shootout. I think that K-State's defense is more less susceptible to the giant plays. K-State's defense is not good at getting off the field.
No,
they're really bad at letting teams kind of milk it down, like we saw in the Army game and have seen multiple times this year. KU's bad at giving up the giant touchdowns for some reason. So if K-State wants to win that game, which I don't know, I don't know if there's a look ahead. Who's going to be favored in this game?
K-State will be favored, I think.
I
think it'll be close. I think it'll be close.
Like
My guess is K-State by 2.5.
Yeah, something like that. I think that going into this, like, if you had to pick this game, like KU's been the favorite since Army game, basically. Like,
you think they have?
I think they have, and I think that it's just been like law of averages coming back down to earth here. And I think it's going to be pretty like you said. I think it's going to be pretty much a pick 'em. But I mean,
what do you think if KU hosted TCU? What do you think that line would have been?
Before the loss?
Yeah, going into last week.
Probably like, oh man, I don't know. I mean, I'd say
K-State was a 1.5 or 2.5 point dog.
I mean,
on where you were looking.
I'd say TCU'd be favored by like a point or two.
Yeah, by more, I bet. I think Vegas likes K-State more than Vegas likes KU.
They do. Vegas loves K-State. We've talked about that. K-State was terrible in those early parts of the season.
I know because they just have a little. Now it's been a little different without Dylan Edwards, but K-State has some. They've got some dudes on offense. KU has Jalen Daniels, and now we look at it. Emmanuel Henderson's been a really good player. But it was like, who else do they have? And he's been Superman, and he's got to be Superman. That's okay. Like, this is very much a rebuilding year. Like, if you're a KU fan, I don't think you should be wildly disappointed. If we're really thinking about, like, what was KU supposed to be this year? Yeah. Man, this was a rebuilding year. Like, they lost everybody but Jalen Daniels, basically. And Daniel Highshaw, who's been kind of a non-factor this year. So I think that it's been a fine season for Kansas. I really do. Like, if I'm a Kansas fan, I don't like getting beat. I'm not making light of the way they were just stomped on Saturday. I don't like that. But if you find a way to beat K-State, your season at that point to me has been successful. And even if you don't, what are they looking at? They're 4-3 right now. We're trying to get to 6 wins. They still have Oklahoma State on the schedule. And then you've got road games against Arizona and Iowa State and a home game against Utah. They're a little pressure, just like K-State. The bowl game feels heavy for the loser of this game in a couple of weeks. But I unless the bottom falls out, I don't know that there's going to be that was a disappointing KU season. They just you can't replace everybody like that immediately. If you're Kansas, there's still program building.
Yeah. I agree. It is a successful year, and they've already overcome the expectations that people kind of set on them because nobody had any idea what this team was going to be. They brought in felt like 60 transfers. Yeah, it's a completely
and not the same as Tech bringing in a bunch of new players either.
Yeah, there's no oil money in the transfer class that KU brought in. So I don't know. I mean, I still think that they're a really good football team. I think that this is like a step down of what they should have been last year from what they were those final couple of games that we saw them actually. But I don't know. I mean, I think that they can beat K-State. I think that
absolutely they can beat K-State. K-State lost to Army and barely beat North Dakota.
I think that they probably honestly, I think that they probably should beat K-State this year.
That I don't agree with. I think K-State's better.
I don't know. That's what I think before this week. Before this week, I've said KU basically since week 0, honestly. Like I was like, man, it just feels like this could be this KU offense is stupid explosive. Like Jalen Daniels' final year, who's been awesome this year. It's like you watched K-State and kind of the problems that they had against Iowa State, which turned into a lot more problems. And then the North Dakota game happened, and then it was like, okay, KU is 100% going to beat K-State this year. It's going to trend that way. There's a new stadium. It's going to happen. And then the longer that they've played, the less confident that you feel about it for both KU and K-State reasons.
This is the chance. I don't disagree with that, but the way they're playing defense and while K-State is still a very flawed team, not in the same stratosphere as what we saw early in the year. If Dylan Edwards plays in this game, it's going to be tough. If he doesn't, we're talking coin flip feel a little bit.
It has gone. I'll tell you, it has gone. I've been talking to people because I have so many K-Staters in my family and everything like that. And my family is a bunch of KU people. Is that it's gone from KU's doing it, it's going to happen. Sorry, K-State, it's finally over. Mop up your tears and everything like that. And then the closer that you get to it, it's just this is the most KU thing ever. They're going to blow the chant. It's going to happen.
We don't know Dylan Edwards' status. So right now, today, and this is way too early. We have 2 weeks to think about this, but we're a little delirious. It's early in the morning. Right now, who are you picking in that game?
I still think it's KU just because it's. I think it's KU.
I think it's KState, but with absolutely reserving the right to change my mind over the next 2 weeks as we get ready for that game.
This feels like a traditional Sunflower Showdown in basketball, where it's like something stupid's going to happen.
Yeah, something stupid's going to happen. That almost feels like a guarantee. I absolutely agree with that. We're going to talk some more Chiefs. Joshua Brisco, Chiefs Radio Network. He was up late just like we were. We'll all discuss that Chiefs win over the Lions. Feeling good this morning, Chiefs fans. Don't go away.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
83101 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas fan headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSEW.
And now, digging deeper with the teams you follow, it's another Sports Daily Insider interview on KFH.
And we are glad to be joined right now by Joshua Brisco of the Chiefs Radio Network. Tuned in on the drive home from some TV obligations after the game last night. Josh, I think a lot of your takeaways were similar to the rest of us. How are you this morning? A little groggy, a little sleepy?
Yeah, I mean, look, my only complaint about doing this show with you guys so far is that you could absolutely be doing this in the afternoon. You could be doing this midday. I don't know why you guys insist on this early morning radio thing. But other than that, I am delightful. I am happy to be here. I'm happy to be talking about Chiefs Lions. I'm happy that it's Rashee Rice week. We can go down the roster if you want, but there is plenty to be happy about on this Monday, which is such a breath of fresh air after some of the really frustrating days we've had as of late. We haven't even talked since the Jags game. I forgot we talked Monday morning.
And doesn't this even like that's like, to me, I'm just like, I'd still shake my head at that Jags game. Like, what in the hell was that? And this was the opposite of it. This was the bizarro Jags game. And it is just a reminder of like, man, the Chiefs are going to be hard to beat if they don't beat themselves when they play offense like this.
The sequence that most specifically reminded me of this, this is the bizarro Jags game, was what happened around halftime. The Chiefs had the chance to double dip against the Jags on Monday night, score before the half and after the half without the Jags ever touching the ball. And not only could they not do it, it was like a really, I don't know, for me it was a little bit of a confidence-killing moment in the Jags game of like, oh, well, you've still got the lead here. You still should be in pretty good shape, but man, it just, you have a chance to put your foot on their neck. And then against the Lions, a better football team, and look, I honest to goodness, I think teams 1 through 31 are all a lot closer than we've seen them be in recent years. Sorry, Jets. You could have gotten into the group by just handling your business Sunday morning against the Broncos in London, but you didn't, so you're team 32. But when you have a league that feels as compressed as this is right now, what happens on a couple of drives when you have a chance to make the Lions pay for wanting to start with the football? That is an important opportunity. And last night, I'm sure there's an example somewhere that I'm not thinking of right now off the top of my head, but I can't tell you a time when the Chiefs offense just fully did not handle their business when they needed to in a situation last night. They passed every test again.
Yeah, they did. We were talking about the weird part of the game last night. We said if you covered up the total score and just looked at the box score, you really wouldn't know who won the game. Like, they didn't really limit the Lions. They didn't take them away. Like, what did they do to be able to win that football game last night other than, like you said, just not make mistakes?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's like I felt like a worse and worse analyst as this season has gone on, because now I was at the point week 5, week 6 of like, well, if you don't turn the ball over and don't have a lot of penalties, you'll win the game. It's like, thanks, man. Terry Bradshaw will tell you that on TV, and he's not looking at this team every single day, right? All love for Terry Bradshaw. Just thinking of like, who can say turnovers and penalties? But man, if that's not true, you get 13 penalties against the Jags. You obviously have the back-breaking pick 6 and plenty of other mistakes in all phases. You still have one special teams scuff on Butker's record yesterday, but better than it has been. That's still concerning, but whatever. But I really do think that's it, because so go back to like teams 1 through 31 and thinking about where the league's at right now. I think what it can reasonably come down to is you think about the tiers within these big groups, and you've got like the Super Bowl contenders who actually should be winning every week, but no one ever does. if you are one of the teams that belongs in the upper section of what I am calling, in a dangerous radio term, the muck, like with an M. If you're in the muck of the NFL that way, if you're one of the better teams, when you play good football, you should beat the teams below you. But you are never beyond being taken down by an underdog. And so I just think that's the place the Chiefs land in right now. Or frankly, I should correct myself. That's the place the Chiefs have been in weeks 1 through 6. That might change with Rashee Rice.
Well, it might. And look, I don't know what you felt about this offense before the season, Joshua. All offseason, to me, it was screaming at us as the Chiefs have a chance to be an elite offense again. And they'll need to be, because the defense probably isn't going to be as good, right? They've lost too many good players over the years. If they can protect, and they are protecting, including when wonder kid Josh Simmons is a late scratch to the game and you have Jalen Moore step up. To me, like, if they don't beat themselves through mistakes, I don't know how teams are going to compress this offense in individual games, with Rice back now especially, because Mahomes has all the time in the world to let one of his 6 receiving targets get open.
And yesterday was the first time that it's just been like no mention of Tyquan Thornton, and that's okay. That can happen if things are working. Now, look, if the offense is all stuffy and Thornton's not out there and we don't see a target from him for 45 minutes of game time or whatever, I'm going to be in there in the fourth quarter going, come on, guys, like you have these options. But I think that is right, where you are a team with options, a team with depth at key places. I'm glad you mentioned Jalen Moore. I wanted to give him some spotlight here as well, because I don't know what the timeline was for when they found out about Josh Simmons or exactly how that went, but I do think we know. I think we know this. I do think we know Jalen Moore was not preparing this week to be the starting left tackle. I mean, guys always talk about like you have to prepare as if you could be starting or you could go in at any moment. That's true. Jalen Moore is kind of the backup everything right now, but that's a guy who early in the offseason, I imagine was told, hey man, you're gonna come in and you're gonna be Patrick Mahomes' left tackle. You're gonna protect the blind side of the best quarterback of this generation, and we're gonna give you a pretty good paycheck over these 2 years, but you're probably gonna be the guy that does that. Well, then Josh Simmons is there at the end of the first round. Well, then Josh Simmons is healthy. Well, then Josh Simmons is immediately good, and Jalen Moore gets effectively demoted back to the role that he left San Francisco for, being like, hey, well, you're the backup to a guy that we think's better than you up front. That's got to be a tough place to be in. Like, I don't know. We haven't heard him talk a lot this year, but I imagine in a quiet moment that would be a disappointing thing that he could admit. Like, man, it's not really what I signed up for. Being paid handsomely, and next year he's probably their starting right tackle. But still, that's a little bit disappointing from his shoes, I imagine. He steps in what seems like pretty short notice. Mahomes said after the game that Simmons wasn't there at their walkthrough at like noonish or something. So I imagine that he was probably there last night. Maybe, I don't know, whatever. That part doesn't, I don't know. I'm speculating and I shouldn't. I don't really know what matters. What I do know is it's a short, quick turnaround for Jalen Moore, and it was, hey, welcome to your first start as a Chief, man. Here's Aiden Hutchinson. Here's overall a pretty good Lions pass rush on both edges, and I just really, really impressed. A really good way to create a little bit of goodwill there for Jalen Moore, because that's not an easy thing to do. And I haven't gone back to rewatch every offensive line snap, but I didn't notice him. I certainly didn't notice him as a problem. And that's a massive compliment in a day where the offense looked as good as it did.
Josh, yesterday in the locker room, just an anecdote here to tell you. We were talking to Jalen Moore, and it was, what was today like for you? And he's like, well, I started the day in the hospital. And I was like, why are you in the hospital? Right. Oh, my wife had a baby this morning. It's like, your wife had a baby this morning?
That's also when I found out. I didn't hear any of his locker room audio until I got home last night. And I had a text in the group chat. It said, Jalen Moore's wife had a baby this morning? It's like, man, like, that's a day. Like, in another world, I'd be like, hey, man, you don't need to show up to work today. We got Mike Caliendo can do the 6 lineman stuff, go. But he's there, gets the start, plays really well, and congratulations to the Moore family. It's amazing.
Yeah, we were talking about the offensive line, with everything that this offense has done so well and kind of turning back into an elite offense. I think it all starts with that. I said that Mahomes looks good whenever he has the time to have different options. What can that do, especially with Rashee Rice back now with another option joining too?
I think what we've seen since the Ravens game was Mahomes getting to that place that we've been waiting to see him get back to, where he doesn't look unsettled behind the offensive line. We have seen him survive and frankly, against all odds, thrive in some really sketchy short-term offensive line solution, gum and paper clips kind of thing. So we've seen him get through that because he's amazing. End of sentence, actually. We've seen him get through that because he's amazing. I think what we've seen Ravens, Jags, Lions in various degrees is that when the protection is there, he's a little more comfortable again. I think he's built some of that trust back up, and it's not thought trust. It's the muscle memory. It's what am I seeing here? He's built some of that trust back up to a point that he will hang in the pocket. If there's a flash of color, it doesn't mean I'm about to get smacked in the face. It might mean a little movement and keep looking downfield. So I really do think that is so important, and that trust has really been built up. This is the proof of concept of having to trade away Joe Thuney, who's an incredible football player. But you go, well, you trade him and you add all these guys together, and you can elevate the sum of the parts and not have any real weak links anywhere. And also a shout out to Kingsley Suamataia, who I think has put together a few good games in a row. I think he had his first penalty last week. But again, a guy, if you don't hear his name, count that as a good thing, and he's been solid. Then on the weapons front, you again have seen Mahomes make the most out of what he has at every single turn. He made the most out of Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. He made the most out of Justin Watson and MVS. He will make the most of this crew that he has now. But even going back to what we talked about earlier, in terms of is this, what version of the offense are we going to see, and what evolution comes next? Or are you expecting coming into this year? I was expecting this offense last year, and we just never got to see it all come together. With Hollywood's injury in the first snap of the preseason, with Rashee Rice's injury super early in the year, it just never came together. Even Isaiah Pacheco, who obviously he's had a couple nice games after a rough start, he breaks his leg and he doesn't look like the same guy when he comes back. So if, fingers crossed, knock on wood, whatever your superstition is, if this team can keep the weapons healthy at the same time, I think it's going to be the best array of weapons Patrick Mahomes has had in a very, very, very long time.
I think best since the early years. Joshua Brisco joining us, Chiefs Radio Network. The other thing last year, we wanted to see it. The line wasn't good enough. It wouldn't have mattered if everybody was healthy. The line wasn't good enough last year. It is now. I wonder what you thought. I kind of thought that last night as the game went along, maybe they were protecting Xavier Worthy a little bit from that ankle. I wonder how serious that is. That's the first time I can remember since he sort of, clicked at whatever point that was about halfway through last year, where he wasn't the primary option in the pass game. Last night, it looked like he was maybe option 4. And I wonder if that was protecting him a little bit and how concerned we should be about his ankle, not even the shoulder moving forward.
Yeah, first of all, it's just insane. It's like his torn labrum is clearly not a problem, but his ankle swelled up a couple weeks ago, and now what's going on? But that's legitimate because I shouldn't say, I don't know, but a torn labrum isn't making Xavier Worthy any less fast and any less elusive, and his change of direction isn't in question. I'll have to go back and finally, a fun rewatch. I can't wait to rewatch this game and not be sad during it, or at least frustrated in the various facets. I'll be interested to see if the Lions were paying more attention to Xavier Worthy that forced Mahomes, or at least inclined him, to go find Hollywood and Juju and Travis Kelce with a nice game in his own right. I don't know if that was the Lions defense taking Worthy away or the Chiefs saying, hey, we got a few plays where we are going to rely on Worthy, but we're not going to build the offense around him in quite the same way, knowing we just have a team effort to get through here, and then Rashee Rice comes back. So the good news, I guess, is that they're 3 games away from the bye week, and having Rice come back should certainly help that in a pretty big way. If they wanted to, they could put out more Tyquan Thornton snaps. That was, a real... an inflation in his snap count while Worthy was out early on, and he's again kind of stepped back since then, despite having some great plays, being a great deep ball tracker. I do think if they want to protect Worthy a little bit more, I would now, going into the Rashee Rice era of this season, I'd be happy to see a lot more Rashee Rice, obviously, and then maybe a little more Tyquan Thornton to figure out what's going on there with Worthy. I will be curious. Last week, they had... I think he was a full participant Wednesday, non-participant Thursday and full on Friday again. I will be curious to see if they do another kind of just like load management, kind of veteran off day type of thing. The Chiefs don't do that very much for anybody, especially on offense, I think. Right. But Worthy got that treatment this week, and that's because he is really, really important to what they want to do. So keep an eye on the injury report for him, and hopefully he's just full all week, and this ends up being something that is nagging, but it's very hard to get an ankle to calm down when your team's number one wide receiver in the NFL. So I hope that is not a long-term issue, because frankly, again, like if you can get to the bye week and tell me that he's fully healthy after that, his ankle is fully healthy after that, I'd be thrilled. Problem is that the Bills game is the last one before the bye, and so I would love to see a fully healthy, full set of weapons for that Bills game.
Yeah, they were talking last night. Xavier Worthy was that him, Hollywood Brown, and Rashee Rice have never played a regular season game together, which is insane to think about in the last 2 years. But anyways, different topic here. Something about holding these microphones, usually makes us overreact a little bit. That's kind of what you do on the radio. Whenever you get Rashee Rice back and you're 3-3, and with the Xavier Worthy injury, like this feels like something that you would have taken once you saw him tear his labrum. Are the waters still? Is everything good going forward now, you think?
More or less, yeah. I think, look, the way the AFC has gone, being 3-3, again, the Chiefs are a game and a half back of the Chargers in the AFC West, a game behind Denver. Again, thanks for absolutely nothing from the New York Jets. I just really had every chance. Miserable team. Don't ever watch a Jets game with rooting interests. It's not worth it. All that to say, unless you're rooting against them. All that to say, I do think this isn't the path I would have necessarily expected, but if you would have told me, yeah, they lose to the Chargers and Eagles and Lions and beat the Giants and Ravens and Jags, or maybe they beat the Chargers and lose to the Ravens, however you need to shuffle that out to get to an acceptable 3-3. I think I would have taken that, but I wouldn't have been excited about that. I think the way that we have seen it come together now, and this is super reactionary to a game we watched yesterday, because the Jags game didn't feel this way. But I think with what we saw yesterday, I feel good enough that they are nearing and going in the right trajectory, nearing what their ceiling can be. And not that they're not going to get better with Rashee Rice, but like that they're on the path to achieve their ceiling for the first time in a very long time offensively. And then I think the defense is just going to kind of be a matter of cobbling it together, and you try to get your best, your best X number of snaps from Chris Jones any given week. You hope your secondary performs. You hope that Noel Williams can keep doing his thing on the boundary. I don't know what's going on with Christian Fulton. I'm genuinely confused by that. But I really do think, yeah, you take 3-3 here, especially because you don't have an undefeated Bills team. Obviously, any time that they could be tripped up would be great. The Chiefs are going to have to do that themselves on November 2nd if the 1 seed is really in the mix. But we're talking, like I said the words 1 seed and didn't laugh, and they're 3-3. It's on the table.
We were talking about a 7 seed 2 weeks ago.
It's in the mix. They get to play the Bills. It's in the mix. I don't think that's crazy at all.
It's not, and I think if Rashee Rice wasn't coming back, I think I would probably not be talking about it that way, because I think you would just see the Chiefs being a team that can win or lose almost any week, and they're going to win more than they lose. But with Rice coming back, I think there's another gear that can really make them just absolutely terrifying.
They're terrifying with that offensive line. They're terrifying. They should have beat the Jags. If they'd have beat the Jags, they might be the favorite to win the Super Bowl right now. I'm talking about Vegas odds, not our odds. Josh, we appreciate it. Catch Josh on the Chiefs Radio Network. Oh, not enough time to talk about it as 11.5-point favorites against the Raiders. Dang. Oh, man.
If that goes poorly, I will not be here on Monday.
just nail it in. All right, Josh, we appreciate it. We'll catch you next week on the air.
Thanks, fellas. I appreciate it. Talk to you next week.
There goes Joshua Brisco. All good stuff. Sports here brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company. Oktoberfest, the deeply copper-colored German-style lager that'll make you click your heels, grab your stein, follow the copper brick road to the land of Oktoberfest. Wichita Brewing Company pizza and beer made here. I didn't even have a chance to talk about the post-game shenanigans. We'll do that next, and a little post-game shenanigans for KU and Tech. Who had the bigger beef, the Chiefs or KU, in their post-game anger? We'll talk about it next.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
8310 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas fan headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Sports Daily on KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It's Sports Daily. So glad to be here with you on this Monday, waking up a little bit here to what we're seeing in the world of the NFL, in the world of a Chiefs late game last night. If you want to win some HTO, help you wake up, you can win that right now, free iced tea, to one lucky listener who texts the keyword TEA to the short code 20357. That'll get you a free iced tea, more than 25 flavors to choose from. Good for East Wichita, West Wichita, or in Derby. Good luck, everybody. While you're in there getting that free tea, you might try the new peanut butter latte, iced or hot. It's delicious at HTO. Good luck, everybody. DJ, one post-game scuffle, Chiefs-Lions, and one post-game anger from Lance Leipold. Who had the bigger beef there? Who's got the bigger complaint? Juju Smith-Schuster and his bloody nose, or Lance Leipold, who says a pocket knife was thrown at him?
Probably the dude that got punched in the face and is going to have an injury to his nose in the National Football League. Probably
Branch is in big trouble. Branch is going to be in big trouble.
First of all, let me just tell you the anecdote here of what this looked like for the media covering that Chiefs game last night. We were sitting there as you wait to go in the Chiefs locker room to do your post-game interviews and everything. You're watching the game on TV, basically. And so we had it on the Jumbotrons down there, kind of seeing what was going on. And then it was just like, whoa, like, hey, they're kind of shoving each other. And then we start seeing, like, helmets getting ripped off. And we're like, and then they cut the feed. And we're like, what is going on? And then you see Juju Smith-Schuster run by you with a bloody towel to his face. And we're like, what just happened on the field out there? So crazy. The video's nuts. The video that KCTV got as well that I showed you of, like, in the middle – crazy. I can't believe that. So I don't know, but as for the KU thing, it's just a lot of weirdness in that one.
Yeah, look, I don't know why or what they can do. I thought, and you sent it to me. I didn't get the sense that Leipold was like coming at McGuire. What's McGuire supposed to do?
I know that's the other part of it.
He's already lectured the fan base.
Yeah.
It's like Bill Snyder trying to get KState basketball fans to stop their chant during Sandstorm.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to stop that. I don't, if it were me, let them throw tortillas. Let them throw tortillas like they've always done, and you just move on. Like, you're trying to do something. When you do that, you're stoking that fire a little bit, right? You're talking about a bunch of young, at least partially drunk, like college kids fired up for their football team, and the man sitting here telling them not to do something. What do you think's going to happen? What are you going to do? Arrest 60,000 of us? Of course they're going to do it, and they're going to make it worse.
It's
so
true.
I don't know why, just let them throw tortillas and just sweep them away and move on with your lives. They've done it forever.
So that's one. I think that the pocket knife thing is a completely different story.
Obviously, horrible. Somebody should go to jail for that.
So that's the part that is like, it's weird. Like, because on social media, there's like a lot of discourse about the situation right now because like Texas Tech fans are like, yeah, nobody threw a pocket knife. Like, he's making that up. It's like, okay, well, I don't think a Big 12 coach is going to go on the record and lie.
I mean, I don't think it was like an open pocket knife.
I don't think it was either. So it's weird. Like Tech fans are calling him a liar, and then like KU fans are like up in arms about it, and Leipold was pissed, and McGuire was kind of pissed back at him for screaming at him. It's a weird situation. The best thing I saw was Mike Vernon, the scoops guy for KU, tweeted something and said, "Could you imagine the Texas Tech fan that went home and looked for his pocket knife and pulled a tortilla out of his pocket?" It's like, damn it.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
So it's a weird situation. The video's crazy too. Lance got in his face and was pissed, and so it's like, I don't really know what you can do about that. I mean, that's been a thing of like fans have thrown batteries. Like, I was at a TCU KState game down in Fort Worth, and like the TCU fans were throwing things at the KState side, and it's just like when you got alcohol and 19-year-old mixed, like people do stupid stuff.
Very stupid stuff, and that's what you get. Is a situation like that boiling over. Back to the Branch thing. He's been in trouble before.
Yeah.
He's gonna be in a lot of trouble. Like, if you're the league right now, you know what almost happened? Mahomes was almost involved in that. And I don't care what anybody says about special treatment and all that stuff. Could you imagine if Mahomes gets hurt in the bottom of a scrum because Branch was being a total ass after the game? That would be a big problem. Like, he's going to get suspended. You watch. They'll suspend him for that.
Oh, yeah, they will. 100% they're going to suspend him. He threw a punch. You can't throw a punch.
Well, at least a game, I'm saying. Like, it's going to be more than normal. Whatever happens to him will be more than the normal he threw a punch situation. Like, when I say suspended, I don't mean like the standard you've got to miss again. Like, he's going to miss some more time than he normally would, and he should. Dan said all the right stuff, it looks like, after the game. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, what are you doing? If you don't want to shake Mahomes' hand, if you want to give him the Olay on that, that's fine. Do that. But
it is the video. The video is so funny of the fact that it came out of nowhere, and it's like
oh, I don't think it came out of nowhere. I'm sure it came out of somewhere.
Yeah, it came out of somewhere, but like for the average viewer watching that, it's just like you see Mahomes going to dap him up, and he just walks straight past him. Bam! It's like,
I also saw Mahomes, kind of after his touchdown run, brush it off and go right in somebody. Like, Mahomes has been mouthy, and I love that. By the way, I love it. I love his energy. But, yeah, look, if a safety that just got beat and maybe he was on the receiving end of that Superman in the end. Like, I don't know if he was or not. I don't know where he was on that play. You didn't want to dap him up? Okay, fine. But you can't then come and try to start a fight. Like, you just walk off. Like, be done. I don't know which I liked more, the Air 5 or Mahomes's look at Aiden Hutchinson. I don't know if you saw that. It was on the broadcast. It was great when Hutchinson got him on that late roughing the passer. And I don't think Hutchinson was being like overly malicious or anything, but it was a roughing the passer for sure. And he blasted him pretty good. Like, they got a close up of Mahomes,
I saw
the look he gave on him, and then they cut it right before you could see what he was saying to him. I was like, that was pretty good. Man, Aiden Hutchinson's a stud, and the Chiefs held him in check. And I'm telling you, it's been if their line stay, I don't. The bigger story for the Chiefs to me is that they were able to just lose Simmons and protect that way. It's not that Rashee Rice is about to come back. The reason the Chiefs offense is elite and going to just keep getting better. Rice has less to do with that than the fact that the line has been so good. And I think Rashee Rice is awesome, and I think he's a huge part of the offense, and he's going to put up mega numbers and do all of those things. But if you planted Rice into last year's offense, it wouldn't have mattered, right? Like, it was all about the protection. The 2022 receiving core, that last year Mahomes put up gaudy numbers, who was on that receiving core, right? The difference last 2 years, the difference has been they couldn't protect. Now they can. Yeah. And so when we look at it and we look forward, like, that's the story. Rice is going to make it an embarrassment of riches. I agree. But it's going to be because that line is keeping Mahomes clean.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying earlier in the show. Like, Travis Kelce, perfect example. Kelce didn't become a Hall of Fame by being a sneaky runner and getting open all the time. He made a career on, basically being the guy that just found a way to get open whenever Mahomes was looking for somebody. And that's what they've done so well in all the years that the offense has been great. And so I agree. I think it all comes down to that left tackle spot. It comes down to the offensive line. I think if they had this offensive line last year, we'd be talking about a three-peat. We'd be talking about the chance of going 4 straight. So it's a good morning. It's a good morning to be a Chiefs fan.
It's a great morning to be a Chiefs fan. Steve, buddy Steve Strain, who does a lot of Shockers work. He used to be in Lubbock. So if you wonder where this is coming from, Steve used to call games at Tech. He said they should install a tortilla detector at the gate. That would solve it. That's what I'm saying. Like, what are you going to do? It's like when we used to, there was a week called Hell Week when I was in high school. There's the 2 big schools, crosstown, huge rivals, and it would turn into a huge excuse for kids to go out and vandalize things, right? Like, there wasn't much you could do. Like, so what grocery stores stopped doing was they stopped selling eggs to teenagers for the week. Like you couldn't buy eggs if you were a teenager for the week. Like all the grocery stores in town banded together and wouldn't sell teenagers eggs. So is that what we're going to see in Lubbock? Like, are we going to see the stop of tortilla? Yeah. But you got such, like, how do you even do that? You need tortillas for a tailgate. How are you supposed to make brats without tortillas? You know, like
what's your deal about hot dogs and tortillas? That's not a thing.
I didn't say a hot dog. I said a brat.
That's the same thing. But you said hot link.
A hot link.
What
do you put a hot link on?
A bun, like a hot dog.
No, absolutely not. What are you talking about?
You're in the wrong on this one. Like, there's nobody else I know that puts them in tortillas.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have not enough time to explore this, but we are going to. I'm gonna try to remember how to do a Twitter poll, and we are going to find out the way people eat their sausages. We're not talking about hot dogs here. We're talking about a sausage.
Do you put all your sausage varieties in a tortilla?
Yeah,
that's insane. I literally have never heard of that.
You've never had sausage and kraut on a tortilla with mustard?
No, you put it in a hot dog bun.
So I don't care what you do. You're missing out. It is better in a tortilla. How do you make a poll? Where's a poll? There it is. I think I got it. All right, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. We're gonna set this out to the universe. Talking about put a hot link or a brat in a hot dog bun? No, absolutely. God, that's just not okay.
Ridiculous.
What are we doing here?
That's of all the things that you've had hills to die on. Like, this is the most, like, I've literally never heard of that in my life. Like,
I just got a text that said, you tell that young man if he knocks a tortilla in a sausage again, he's going to have problems.
I've never even heard of anybody doing that until you said something about it last week. And I was like, well, that's weird, but we'll brush past that.
Well, I don't know what they do in Southeast Kansas where
you eat
from.
it like a hot dog because it's a hot dog variety.
It is not a hot dog. It is a sausage.
It's the same shape. It's the
same shape. They're both wieners. I get it. Like, but
yeah, that's why the hot dog bun
sausage and one. How do you even fit a sausage in a little dinky hot dog bun?
I don't understand. You go to a baseball game, you go get a Polish sausage in a hot dog bun. Like, that's what people...
where I'm from. You get a Polish sausage in a tortilla.
That's crazy.
In a tortilla. That's the way they come because they're better that way.
I really thought that you
listen. We'll get
I thought that you were taking this conversation and saying, like, how can you not sell tortillas during football season? And I was like, are you making tacos in the parking lot? Where are you going with this?
We're tailgating. My goodness gracious. Rick's mad. Rick says, why can they throw anything? You're asking for chaos. I'm just saying, like, you don't try to tell young rebellious kids like what they can't do, or they're just going to make it worse. They're just going to make it worse. Nobody's getting hurt by a tortilla.
At least there's penalties now for the tortillas.
I guess, but that sucks for the team. Like, the team shouldn't get penalized.
Yeah,
they got penalized on Saturday. All right, we're coming back. We got a little more sports data. Don't go away. Hot dog bun with a God bless.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and